We're going to start this over. Today we are reviewing the Dunwich Legacy player card reviews. And if you haven't seen our core set videos, we uploaded those like half a year ago. And we're pretty late on this one, but no time like the present. I mentioned in a comment that we like to play with the cards before we actually try them out, so we don't have like a test of will thing again, where it's like, oh, this card's really great, we've never played with it. So
just take our word for that.
Yes, yeah.
There's a lot of cards that also look like they're not very good, but turn out to be.
And lots of cards that look good but aren't.
Yes. So why don't we start with a card we have right here, which is Blackjack. It's an asset, costs 1, commits for a fist. As an action fight, you get +1 fist for this attack. If you perform this attack against an enemy engaged with another investigator, and you fail, you deal no damage.
This card's bad.
Yeah. There's just better weapons.
Yeah, like it's not great. I wouldn't want to put it in my deck as like a weapon choice.
Yeah.
Like it does only cost 1. Mm-hmm. There's a low cost considered.
The best thing I could say about this card, I think, is if I was doing this kind of like random deck list thing, and I'd had this card in my deck, I wouldn't be that mad about it.
Yeah. It's also, it's probably actually a good card if you only have the core set and you just bought the Dunwich Legacy and you only have 1 copy and you need just another weapon that you're going to eventually side out for better stuff. It commits for a fist.
It does.
So, like, but it's not
That's the bare
great.
minimum. That's good.
Yeah, it's not, I mean, it could commit for, imagine if it commit for nothing. That would be a nightmare.
I don't think they do those.
No, I don't think they do. Well,
there are some cards that you cannot commit.
Like?
If there's some events that you can't, I think.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
The Delve Too Deep does not commit for anything.
Yeah, like
that one's a little bit
cards
different.
that don't.
Yeah, it's very rare. It's very rare that
many.
happens. Like Ace in the Hole also does not commit. So
but
like the really
you
powerful
never want
cards
to be playing.
they're
you
basically
never want
saying,
to be discarding that card.
Hey, don't make a mistake.
It's an idiot trap.
But yeah, this card, even it's the plus side of not damaging another investigator that you're swinging this at a monster engaged with isn't really that relevant of a thing.
It doesn't do any extra damage, so who cares?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you basically just, on the slim chance you fail, you deal 1 less damage to your friend. Good job.
It's like punching that +1.
Yeah.
Next card, let's go.
All right, we got ourselves Taunt, which is...
This one's actually pretty good.
Cost 1, it's an event. Commits for Bryn and a fist. Fast, play only during your turn. Engage any number of enemies at your location.
The upgrade version of this is like significantly better, which we'll get to in a minute. But like this card definitely isn't bad for the I take all the enemies blue archetype, where it's like Mark Harrigan or like Zoe or whatever, and you just walk around and fight things. Or like Mark in particular, because you stack up so many things, you can just so many like assets and that have health and brain value, you can just like take enemies and walk around forever.
Yeah.
This is very good at like condensing your actions.
And as someone says in the comments that I see in the reviews at the bottom of the Arkham DB page that I'm going to steal, because it only costs 1, it's essentially a free card you get because you get 1 resource each turn. So it's
if you're playing Zoe, it's even free.
It's even free. Yeah.
But also, this card got a lot better once we learned that engaging enemies was not one of the actions that didn't provoke an attack of opportunity.
Yeah.
Which is I still think is weird, but whatever.
Yeah. So like it makes this card a little better.
If trying to run away and fail doesn't cost take an attack of opportunity, then like why does engaging enemies?
No, Travis, that's something we get the alert keyword. Then this is an enemy. When this enemy engages you, he makes an attack against you, and then it's just gonna say thanks, Travis in the.
I'd be flattered.
Yeah, that would be pretty sick.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So yeah, this card it also commits for Brain and Fist, relevant symbols. So,
it's a pretty solid card.
It's very rarely dead. Then we have Teamwork. Investigators in your location may give or trade any number of item assets, ally assets, or resources among one another. 0 cost, commits for a while. It's an event.
I remember when Dunwich Legacy came out, myself and many other people were excited for some kind of like Jenny deck.
Yeah.
Where you just like use your money to play like really cool cards and gave them to people who could actually use them.
Yeah.
And like that hasn't really come to fruition yet, but like I still think it could work in the future.
Yeah, it's also one of those times that this is something that I wish you could just I could just do, but I never want to pay a card for it. Right? Like I would love to have given somebody this ally that I don't need right now, but
even though like there's a very I think we really should try this card out in a serious sense.
Sure.
There's a couple niches where like you can't. The big thing with Jenny is you can't give away her pistols because they're only for her.
Yes.
And that's apparently a rule that they Said. But like, there's lots of really strong, like, being able to give your clue finder Leo.
Yes.
Like, when you're just trying to soak up clues, that can be huge.
Yes.
Or like, if
or
you're,
just
you're the tank and you're just like, yeah, here you go, Mr. Spellcaster, here's like Brother Xavier, go nuts.
Yeah. It's there's a lot of potential to be broken, and I think they also can tell that even though it's very niche, they wanted to tell you that the card is strong because it commits for a wild symbol. So
the only awkward part about this is like a blue card, and blue isn't really a support color. But I think there could be like a very, very strong campaign sort of dealer where you have like Calvin, and then you just have like teammates supporting him.
Yeah.
Where he just like soaks damage, and then you're like he like has the Kevius or whatever, and you're just like give him Brother Xavier so he doesn't take damage and like allies and stuff.
Can we just like immediately call that build the Saving Private Calvin build and just have that be a thing?
I hope you're good enough at doing everything, buddy.
On that note, that like because it's blue is a main blue won't benefit as much as like a character who has blue as a support color for them, right? Like not really William York
something
because
like
he's kind of his own machine.
Carolyn Fern might be able to benefit from it. Actually, I'm not sure if she can play it. Her deck building requirements are real weird, but
yeah,
I think she can.
But like this card is not. It's very specific if you're going to build it. I highly do not recommend it for solo play.
The thing with this card is it's very niche. It's it's so interesting because it's not an effect you can do otherwise.
Yeah. If you could play it as Safina, I think this card would be very good.
Yeah.
If not, like it's as the rules say, it is a tactic, so you get to put it underneath stick to the plan.
If
so you could always have it.
Yeah, I think what's her? I think Carolyn can play stick to the plan too.
Yeah.
We'll have to experiment with this.
Seems strong with green characters giving away Leo. If any other color had Leo,
yes,
he would be insane. Instead of just very good.
All right, we got the upgraded Taunt. It adds a foot symbol.
Yep.
And play only during your turn. Fast engage any number of enemies in your location. Draw one card for each enemy engaged this way. So yeah, it's just better. You get to draw a card.
It's just freer.
More foot. Yeah.
This upgrade is good for lots of blue guys. I don't think it's good for Mark in particular. You already draw so many cards just from taking damage. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But no, it's just like I would never prioritize this upgrade. But if you've got like 4 experience lying around or whatever, you're not sure what else to put on. This is a fine option.
Yeah.
Especially if you're hurting for foot. Yellow cards.
All right, we got ourselves
super sexy laboratory assistant. Yeah.
The laboratory assistant, which should hopefully show up. Oh, I know what's happening. Because there's 2 of them, right?
Why would you do this?
Laboratory assistant. Cost 2, it's an asset, commits for a book. Your maximum hand size increased by 2 while checking your hand size during the upkeep phase. After an enters play, draw 2 cards.
This card's quite good, I think.
Yeah.
In lots of yellow decks, a big part of how the game gets you is the inconsistency in both your decks and the chaos bag. And this card, it draws you 2 cards. It definitely helps mitigate that, as well as just having a couple of stats to dump damage onto.
Yeah, there's very, like, I mean, it does happen in yellow, but in both when I've played Daisy Walker and Minty Fan, and I was doing the higher education thing, 8 was, I never was like, I need more than 8 cards.
Yeah.
Like, the top side is kind of just...
Sometimes you get there, like, by the time you have 8 cards, you're like, I don't really care about this one or whatever.
Yeah. So that's what makes it so that you can play her even if you have 8 cards. That's really what the top part says to me. Otherwise, it's the stats and the when she enters playability.
Yeah. She would be very strong for a Calling in Favors build.
Yeah, I was going to say
you'd be like, pick it up, I'll go look for either another one of these or like an art student or whatever.
The best use I've seen of this card
and then play it again
is like a roll and build with Calling in Favors, where you use it to cycle damage off of, you use Calling in Favors to like, and her to draw cards. She helps mitigate the brain damage on Roland, as well as like reuse your art students and reset the damage on your beat cops.
Yeah, yeah.
She's just like another very solid ally.
Yeah. And she actually like, the only 2 for, like, I mean, like...
No, like, all around, she's just, like, good.
Yeah.
Not great, not broken, but, like, good.
Yeah. But you actually, like, we don't play her much at our table. It was, like...
We haven't played a dedicated yellow character since our, like, second Kirkos run.
It's true. So I'm just showing this one here, Strange Solution. This one right now, because it is one of the yellow cards, there's the 2 of them.
Unidentified.
That upgrade into something if you do this. We'll talk more about this card later, but we can briefly say what do we think of as paying 1 and then as an action testing 4 to draw 2 cards?
This was super cool when it came out because it could do anything. We had no idea. This is the first time we saw one of these. We're like, is it going to matter in the campaign?
Yeah.
Is it going to be other cards? Which is what it ended up being. But just like as a base thing, like the effect's solid enough, it doesn't feel bad to do.
Yeah, it's not terrible, and it
that's-
commits for a while.
Yeah,
So.
that's
In retrospect to the laboratory assistant we just saw, if there's no upgrade, if you're not planning on upgrading this, it's just go laboratory assistant.
Don't play this if you're not going to try and get one of the better ones later.
Yeah.
that's
don't
a
do
poor
that.
mistake.
All right, now we got the next one over here.
Shortcut.
Shortcut.
This card is a staple yellow card.
Yeah, pay 0.
There are
event.
not many yellow cards or decks that I wouldn't want this in.
Fast play while during your turn. Choose an investigate location. Move that investigator to connecting location. It's a free move.
As a general rule, yellow cards or yellow characters don't have a problem drawing lots of cards, and this is just really good. It's a free action. It's really strong in Mark because it's a tactic. Assuming that your yellow character isn't playing it.
Yeah.
But it's also an insight. I'm not sure if there's anyone who cares about those yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was in the future.
Yeah, but they'll be yellow.
It's fine. Yeah, they
Because
probably
that's
will.
where most of the insights
They
are.
could be purple maybe.
Maybe, but they won't be. Because then it would be useful. Like
Yeah.
Finn. Finn's like, I can play Alyssa cards.
Or
Most
Father
of the Alyssa
Mattia.
cards are green.
Blessed cards, you
Yeah.
mean Counterspell
They're
Seal on the other
all-
side.
all purple.
Thanks.
Yeah, there's not much to say other than this card's really good.
You should consider playing it.
Yeah, it's like a free action.
You should probably just play it, not think about
But
it.
also not necessarily a free action for you.
There's also
Possibly
a
a free action
few
for
niche
someone
times
else.
when you were like, hey, I need this player who is engaged with this enemy at this location. Oh, they're connecting to it. Hey, move, and the enemy goes with it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that it's very versatile too.
It's so flexible.
Yeah.
Seeking answers. I think this card's bad. This is a blackjack of yellow cards for this set. This one's like 1 to play. It's an event. It commits for a book and a foot. Investigate. If you succeed, instead of discovering a clue at your location, discover a clue at a connecting location.
You know, I'm going to agree with Travis on this because I've put this in every one of my yellow decks in the hopes of just trying it out to see what it does.
Right.
And it's always, because I always have this dream. It's like, oh, there's 4 enemies at this location and 1 clue, and we need it to win.
Yeah.
It never works.
The only
out for
time
that.
I ever had it be good was like when I was playing Rex, and like once or twice, it was like investigate that location, succeed by 2, get that clue, and 1 at my location.
Yeah.
But like
It's too specific.
we kicked it out to pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, like I guess you can use it to investigate at like a 2 location or whatever and discover a clue at a 4 or a 5 if there's one connecting to it, but
No, there is some value there. It's just not worth it overall.
Yeah, it's
like,
just,
you can play better cards than this in blue that discover clues.
yeah. Yeah.
So maybe don't play this
Roland's
one.
passive ability.
Yeah.
The dream of this card being perfect will not happen, and you'll
No.
just have night terrors, and then
It's just going to be disappointing all the time, except sometimes when you're discarding it for foot to try and evade an enemy that you can't otherwise deal with.
that's true.
Yep.
Next up, we have the green cards. Liquid Courage commits for 1, commits for a brain. Use for supplies. Spend a supply. Choose investigator location to heal 1 horror. Then that investigator tests brain 2. If the test succeeds, he or she heals 1 additional horror. If the test fails, they discard 1 card at random from their
Bryn,
card.
tell us how good it is.
Yeah, this
Do
card
it.
is like MVP. Almost every campaign I've ever played it in, we've ended up at a point in the campaign where it's like, well, we can't keep playing because someone's going to die. Like, nah, just drink some of this liquor and you're fine. Let's go. Healing brains used to be really hard. In core set, it's very difficult.
Nigh impossible.
Yeah, like the only time this card isn't good, I think, is if you're playing, I don't know, maybe like solo Finn.
Who's got that solid
Like, that's what
It's
it is.
just really
For
bad.
someone who's
For some
really good at
reason, yeah.
smuggling drinks,
Like the
Skids
smuggler
liquor.
cannot hold his liquor.
That's actually what they're saying below. The people with low brains and when this was released are very bad at will checks, right? But then there's like Ashcan Pete and like other
Skid
ones.
Oats only has 2.
Yeah, like there comes to the point
Cabin
where
has 0.
because you can heal anybody,
Yeah.
that's where it's really
Yeah,
good.
it also only
Yeah.
costs 1 to play. Like before this, you were looking at playing First Aid, which had 1 less charge and cost 3.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
sure,
before
sometimes
this, you were just
discard
like brain
cards,
damage,
but
just
whatever.
permanent.
Yeah.
And The 2 Brain is actually pretty easy,
Yeah, it's
even
not
for
hard.
lower characters on the standard difficulty. That more often than not, you'll be healing 2, and losing 1 card at random from your hand usually isn't that bad.
I think this card's actually pretty balanced in that aspect. Like every once in a while, losing the card will fuck you, but like the odds that you're going to lose the card in your hand,
Yeah,
but
you're
also
going to
fail the -2
like
or
fail
the
the
2
test
test.
and lose a card that mattered out of your hand.
Yes.
And can we also just talk about the flavor of, you can't hold your drink, so you forget some of the stuff that you
Yeah, you were
have.
drinking to forget, but you forgot the wrong thing.
No, this is a very well designed card.
Yeah, it's very.
Yeah.
I like it.
Big fan.
It's, this card is very good.
Just
Also, all the blue characters in the game have insane brain scores. Like their scores are really high, but they have like 5 sanity.
I
It's a
wouldn't
very
say
good,
like insane.
Okay, sorry. They
Roland
have very
has 3.
Good, they have very good scores. Better than most.
Roland and Mark both have 3.
Mark is a madman, so it doesn't matter.
Yorick has 3.
Madman
so
is.
he's...
Marker
Yeah, like
is
you're like, I
infinite.
really want to pass this, so I'll
Sorry,
just
so
take a damage.
the one I like has 4.
Yeah.
The one that I pay attention to.
Think on your feet. Costs 1. Commits for a book and a foot. Fast. Play when an enemy would spawn at your location. Immediately move to connecting location. The enemy still spawns your previous location.
This card was good when it first came out, I think.
Yeah.
But I think we have better options now.
Yeah. It reminds me too much of the Seek Answers one that we just reviewed, where the fact that you need to situationally be good, and more often than not, it's just a dead card.
It's I think it's good if you're playing like an evade-heavy investigator, or you are playing as like the primary nerd, we'll call them, the researcher,
Yeah.
where you can't fight
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah. Is there a yellow-green character?
You can play it in Rex,
Yeah, you can play in Rex.
Yeah.
but it doesn't matter what you're playing in Rex. You're playing Rex.
Yeah. It's true.
Everything's good.
Yeah, I just feel like it's. You have to hope.
Yeah,
It needs
not
to.
bad.
It needs things need to line up for it to be
Like
good.
it's got a niche, but I think that niche is just keep shrinking in time as card
Yes.
effects get better and you have more options.
It probably is. Actually, probably in a solo game, it's very good.
Yeah,
because,
it's probably much
Especially
better
like
than-
for Forgotten Age, I could see it being very strong.
Yes.
Just pretend it's
Goddamn
snorkels or
snakes.
snakes.
Yeah. Double or nothing. Double the difficulty of the skill test. If this skill test is successful, resolve the effects of the successful skill test twice. Commits for a wild symbol.
I really like this card for more than one reason. Sometimes you're fighting a boss monster who's like, I'm tough because I have a lot of health, but like my fight is 3.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, cool, your fight can go up to 6, but like I'm going to shoot you with my gun twice for 1 bullet. Or you're going to research, and we're going to do it twice. You just have to do it good.
Yeah.
Also, if it's in your hand, or even in your deck, every time that the other investigators in your group ask you to help them, even if you can, you don't have to anymore. You can just tell them, like, yes, I could, but you might not want me to.
Or just do you feel lucky?
Yeah.
Are you gambling,
Like,
man?
I don't know, how lucky do you feel right now?
Yeah, this card's really fun.
Is
if
it
I
good?
was trying to win, I probably wouldn't play it. Like on lower difficulties, I probably would. On easy, I think it's a shoe-in for most green decks, just because the
Chaos Bag's so soft.
I think
the
if
Chaos Bag's so soft and like the potential rewards are so high.
I think if you plan on playing
On
your,
standard, I think
your early
about it.
upgrades are like the sure gambles. This card is very good because you can just be like, yeah, sure,
Yeah,
we'll do it.
double
We'll
or
just do
nothing.
it.
It's basically just
Like,
cheating to
yeah.
at gambling and winning. Yeah.
That's a pretty big experience to commit to like double or nothing. But no, like I said, it's fun, but I think it's kind of niche and like unreliable. So.
Yeah, or if you're playing a character with will to survive, this card is also pretty alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you have ways to boost your stats, of course.
Yeah, or you're doing things that wouldn't normally be that difficult, and you're just using this as a free extra action.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fun though. The flavor is also once
true.
again great there. Okay, give me a second to just switch.
Next
this.
card is Hired Muscle. It's an ally that costs 1 to play, 1 experience, commits for a punch. Ally criminal, you get +1 fist. Force, at the end of the upkeep phase, you must either pay 1 resource or discard Hired Muscle. 3 health and 1 brain. Takes from an ally slot. This card's not awful. It's there to support Jenny's theme of getting an extra resource because this guy's like free and you're still playing a normal character. And you can also play the goon as Jenny. But it's not Leo, so it's pretty
it falls
bad.
into that green
Yeah,
Leo
I think
problem.
this guy is best in decks that are allowed to play him that aren't primary green,
Yeah.
or when somebody else is playing the Leo.
Yes.
She's also fine. Like he is also fine in Jenny, I think.
Yeah, like having to pay 1 resource to keep him every turn is not important. You can probably make him die in a turn or two if you really want to, and just one to soak 3 in 1.
Yeah,
that's not terrible.
Actually, one thing I'm a little upset that you can't play this in Mark. I think he'd be very strong there. But.
It would be. I think it is very good in Leo because he's free to play. And it doesn't even cost you an action.
I could see this be very, quite solid actually as an option for, well, you can't play it. No, never mind. I was going to say in Zoe, but you can't play...
no, it costs 1. You're not allowed to play that. I thought it cost 0 the first time we played with it, and I put it in my deck as such.
Yeah, I probably
only
just...
discarded it for extra fists, so, take that how you will.
Yeah, I think that overall this card is just like...
It's not great if you're running an ally,
like an ally
heavy build, or particularly Leo.
I think that
this guy's pretty good.
even if you're running an ally heavy build, I think there's just better options.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Like,
a
so if you're
he's a
doing
cheap
allies-
damage soak, right?
Yeah.
Still.
You probably have access also to like beat cop if you're like gonna build like this ally thing, and beat cop is just better.
You probably have a second color, and whether you're playing like beat cop or you're playing like big man on campus.
Yeah, boy.
Like I think there's just better options.
Yeah, it's
or
just,
if you're like you're really heavy on the ally build, like red gloved man.
Yeah, because like I'm with Travis on the fact that this card isn't bad, but there's just so many other cards that outclass it. Yeah.
Like if you're playing Leo for sure, I think this guy's good. He doesn't cost you anything, right?
Yeah, that's
so you just like run him out, and you're like, I get an extra fist this turn, and we'll see if you're still alive on my next turn. Also, he's not unique, which Mitch cares about.
I guess
Mitch is also the worst unique asset in the game.
No, there might be a worse one.
Right of
I'm
Seeking.
perfectly willing to be proven wrong.
Okay.
We're on our purple cards.
We were
4 costs, commits for a book, use 3 charges, spend 1 charge, investigate. Investigate using brain instead of book. If you reveal one of the symbols, bad stuff happens. You use all remaining actions, but you also get 1 additional clue. So, is it worth it to you?
We were talking about cards that look good but aren't. This is one of them.
Yeah.
This card is definitely a trap, I think.
Yeah.
In my limited experience of using it has been like really good, because I was just Rex for a turn, but that was also because I got lucky.
Yeah. We put this a lot in when it first came out because, like you said, it looks good.
Yeah, you're like, oh, the purple guy can investigate now, but like sometimes you fail the test and you throw away your turn, you're just done.
Yeah.
And it's just like, wow, I paid 4 resources for nothing.
I mean, like,
I might include this card if I was playing Zoe and our yellow character looked like they might need help.
Yeah, bad yellow character though. Maybe if you're playing
Or
Zoe,
like we
you didn't
weren't
have
playing a yellow character and we had like maybe like some sort of red or green character as our investigator. I'd probably take.
Is there a purple character that also has like a good book skill? Because maybe if the only time it's been like, once again, this is so slow, but trying to find a purpose for it, which is use it to as your last investigate on your turn, right? Because then it could be good.
Yeah, like you just have like might be
like,
getting like Lola or some garbage.
I think
she's not good.
So like none of them also have like a high enough book that you can also just be investigating on your own.
Yeah.
I mean, Father Matteo had a
You
okay
can play
book.
it.
He has 3.
You could play this in Rex and then investigate and theoretically discover 3 clues, but you'd have to probably boost your brain.
That's okay. You know what does that? Higher education.
Yeah.
It's a real use for
Yeah,
it.
so like, you could do that.
I mean,
should you? I don't know. I'm not advocating
it's not worth
this
the
course
4
of action.
resources.
like maybe if you're the purple character, like I forget her name, the mystic one.
Akachi.
Akachi,
They're
yes.
all mystics.
Yeah. Purple mistake.
What they're called.
If she is kind of like your support, right? And she's just there on her last action on the turn to just grab clues. That's the time I can see this useful, but otherwise...
This card was better before Lockpicks was a card.
Yes,
Next
Lockpicks
card.
is a billion better.
Ritual Candles. This is the one of the Jim Kohler themed cards. Asset that costs 1 to play, commits for a brain. Reaction. After a bullshit token is revealed during a test you're performing, you get +1 skill value for this test. It takes up a hand slot.
If it didn't take up a hand slot,
it'd be very, very good. Even as it is, I think it's
I'd be
okay.
interested. If it was like the necklace slot. All right, cool.
I'd be
thinking about
significantly,
it.
I'd be
guess
significantly
playing,
less interested if it was a necklace slot. Actually,
playing a purple character,
Yeah, there's a lot of
your
good
hands are
purple
less
in
important.
necklace.
St. Hubert's Key is really good.
The only thing with this one is that I've seen it happen, and I've played with a lot of different groups, is that when they're playing purple, me included, is that they put ritual candles in, because they're like, oh, this card is great. Like it's gonna look at it, look what it can do, and then it's always the card people side out first, which is fine for when you build your starting deck, right?
Yeah,
you need those cards.
You don't have a whole lot of choices.
I don't think this card's bad, but it's just like again, like purple card. This has a lot of things going for it, and it only costs one purple. A lot of purple cards cost you a lot of money. It helps mitigate the hurt of hitting the bad tokens. And like again, a lot of purple cards are high risk, high reward.
Yeah.
And being able to get that +1 to just, get even if you take the bad part of it, like being able to actually get the resource. Yeah, actually being able to like get the benefit is huge a lot of the times and worth the hand slot and stuff, especially since there actually aren't that many purple cards.
I was thinking about that, and I realized I only really play green and blue characters, and hand slots are very important.
There's like
but
Ritual Knife,
other places,
and that's like the other good one. But
would you say that this card gets worse on higher difficulties due to the effect that those symbols have being generally harder?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Because we haven't played on hard, so I don't have like them. I just know they're worse. I don't know the exact like how much worse.
As a general rule, like the negative modifier only goes up by 1, maybe 2, but like it's the effect that gets worse.
Okay, so it's not enough for us to say, but maybe it's worse on harder difficulties.
No, like, I don't think this is a bad card, and there's definitely, but I think it's a personal preference thing, and I wouldn't feel a lot of the. The thing about purple is like a lot of the cards you buy they're good, cost a lot of experience, but they have insane effects.
Yeah.
And so you do end up with like a handful of an above average amount of like 0 experience cards in your deck when you're building them.
Yeah.
I think this is like one that I wouldn't. You don't feel bad about still having it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Coming for a Brain is a little bit of a downer, but what can you do?
Okay. Clarity of Mind.
This card's trash.
This card's like bad liquor.
Yeah, it is.
This card's like bad first
2
aid.
asset, commit to your brain, 3 charges, spend 1 charge, heal 1 horror from investigate your location.
I think this card is better than first aid because it is purple. And if you're a, like maybe Agnes or a Kachi, you can generate a lot of extra use out of it.
I disagree. I think this card's still bad.
Like,
you don't have to make a test to heal the brain, but like it takes up an arcane
first
slot.
First aid is also really bad.
Yeah, so this card is also really bad. It takes up like a slot that you care about. You have this in play, you can't have your shriveling in play maybe. Like this card's bad, don't play it unless like you're desperate for the brain fixate.
Yeah, like the Liquid Courage is I think where it's at.
Is there an upgraded version of this or no?
No. It's just bad.
Yeah, if you're looking for a card that does nothing but heal sanity, Liquid Courage is the best one.
Yeah.
If this was like cost.
Yeah, nothing but heal sanity.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think.
Like
if
buy an Elder Sign Amulet or something.
It doesn't do anything else. Yeah, like you could buy an Elder Sign Amulet if you don't have access to it, but
don't play this card unless like no one in your group can play Liquid Courage and you need brain healing. Even then,
like healing is like. I mean, like we
just can play it as Carolyn Firm.
We put Bryn in the situation where Bryn also requires a lot of healing usually when we play, but like
yeah,
you also can just sometimes just go through a situation without healing too, right? And I don't even think this is needed for desperation healing.
But no, like first aid is the same thing, except that like you can
Doesn't
heal.
It cost 3?
No, it costs 2.
Oh,
but you can heal damage, or
okay, so this is just bad.
And it doesn't.
It is, yeah. It's just first aid, yeah. First
but
aid
like bad, and it takes up an arcane slot.
Yeah.
It's bad.
First aid takes up no slots, and it can heal meat too.
Yeah. Bind monster because you hate them. Cost 3. Brain and book. Evade. This evasion attempt uses brain instead of foot. If you succeed and the enemy is not elite, evade and attach it to the attach bind monster to the monster you invaded. When attached enemy would ready, test brain 3. If you succeed, attached enemy does not ready. If you fail, discard bind monster.
This card's neat.
It costs 2 experience.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
And I think there's usually cooler stuff you could do.
I wouldn't feel too bad about it sometimes if you're like playing a not combat focused purple character. Like this is just a way to deal with enemies.
Yeah.
Especially like this gains a lot more value coming into the Forgotten Age, where like you don't always
want
want
to
to
put
kill
it
things.
on a snake and be like, yeah, okay, you don't do anything for the rest of the game, snake.
I'm not sure it's worth the 2 experience. I'd like to see a downgraded version of this, where you have to make like a brain 4 test or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe it costs more to play.
Yeah, it costs 4 to play. Only commits for a brain. You have to make a brain 4 test or something. It's 0 experience. I consider playing that in the basic deck, but like it's not bad. If you have spare experience laying around, it's something to consider, but generally it's purple.
Yeah, you can pay for a lot of cool purple stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Red cards, Fire Axe. 1 to play, asset, commits for a punch, item, weapon, melee, action, fight. If you have no resources in your resource pool, this attack deals +1 damage. That's the important part. And as a triggered ability, during an attack using Fire Axe, spend 1 resource, you get +2 punch for the skill test, limit 3 times per attack. Takes up 1 hand slot.
This card can be very strong. Sometimes you get to attack at +6.
This is the second best survival
Yeah,
weapon.
like in terms of one-handed melee weapons, I would say second or third best in the game, I think, right now.
I think it's third best. I think Machete's still the best.
Yeah, no, I'm not, I don't think this card, I'm not saying I think this card is better than Machete. Machete is just too reliable at what it does. This one sometimes doesn't deal extra damage because you can't spend all your money fast enough.
Actually, I'd
You
argue
aren't
that
allowed to have money if you want it to do the extra damage.
upgrade 45 is probably better than this too.
Yeah, it's not a
it-
melee weapon, though.
Melee weapons, yeah, okay, whatever.
Like in terms of weapons that don't use charges, the only weapons that I think are better than this are like Machete and one that we haven't reviewed yet.
I think baseball bat's better.
It's not one-handed.
Bryn's cursed with
Still.
baseball bats though, so he
Yeah,
always
like
brings-
I've never had a baseball bat last more than 3 attacks.
How often do
so
you really need to be dual wielding fire axes? Like,
all the time.
Yeah, it's the coolest
It's
thing in the
sick.
world.
yeah,
This card,
Justin knows where it's at.
I recently played it in Jenny, which I actually found to be a detriment. Because I thought it was good when we came in, but it actually turned out to not be the greatest. The +6 is nice, but the very thing is, it's some characters this is good for, some characters not. I don't think it's good for Jenny or someone who produces a lot of resources.
I think it depends on your build a lot.
Because yeah, that's very true. But I think what Travis says, if you have no resources, it deals +1 damage.
best part makes it good.
To me, it's better than the pain to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But just like with Jenny, it means that every turn you're like, my attack is +4.
Yes.
My first attack is +4.
This card's biggest niche is that it's just like a really solid way for any of the Dunwich investigators to have a weapon to fight with.
Yeah.
Being 0 cost and just like, if you're willing to, you can spend your resources to improve even an abysmal fight score of 1 to like 7 if you're willing to.
Yeah.
And it hits for 2 damage.
Yeah. It's a very useful weapon.
Yeah.
It's very solid.
Yeah, it's very strong.
The downside to it is that once it's in play, you kind of aren't allowed to have resources anymore. So like if you're running a Dark Horse build, no problem,
it's pretty sick.
right? You don't want to have money. That's great. But if you're not,
Alright, next up's Sylvester, the big man on campus.
Heck yes, he is.
3 to play, commits for a brain. You get +1 foot reaction after your turn ends. Heal 1 horror from Sylvester, 1 heart, 2 brains.
So, I think he's very good. And
he's-
even this level 0 version, the +1 foot and then basically just a horror sync is very strong, and he gets a lot better.
He's
when he
also
upgrades.
like super broken with Kevius.
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
And he was very
super
good
broken,
in
but, like, very good.
in Carolyn Fern too. Very good because it's basically a resource each turn, right?
Assuming you can find a way to take brain damage, which, I mean, if you're playing
Carcosa,
Carcosa,
it's very easy, yeah.
you can use the hell out of that.
has to.
You think I care?
And I mean, there's the biggest thing about Sylvester that I think is his greatest strength is his subtitle.
His
Big
big,
man on campus.
I think his best like game thing, the best thing he has going for him game mechanic related is that he's not green.
Yes, yeah, no,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
This is like the best red ally.
Yeah.
like Red
Because the
has-
other one that we played before that we liked was Aquana,
Aquana?
right? And she was strong.
She's not
alright,
bad, but
but,
she costs a lot and she's not like great.
Yeah, and then
That's
Sylvester came in and
Stray
said,
Cat.
"No, I'm the big man on campus."
Yeah.
And he's
Stray
just,
Cat's pretty alright.
Okay, we got one more card. Then we'll have the bigger man on campus to talk about.
Yes, it's true. We'll get to that. We'll keep Sylvester on the
Stray
back
cat's
burner.
trash. Stray cat's trash.
That's not.
It goes, "Brow."
Okay, it's better like when you get to higher difficulties, but
It's
it's just
also very good if your name is William Yorick.
It's true.
And you're just like, evade you, kill you, hey, look, a new cat.
Bait and switch costs 1. It's an event. Commits for a book and a foot. Evade. If you succeed, if the enemy is not elite, evade the enemy and move it to a connecting location.
I love the art on this. It's like stupid bug things. She's like, oh, what do you mean there's not a person here?
I'm so disappointed.
It's like, what you?
I think if this could move elite enemies,
Yeah, whatever. You can't expect anything.
but yeah,
to do
no,
it.
nothing, like elite is like the unfuckwithable, right? Like that's basically what that one means.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty fair. It'd be too easy to cheese a lot of
Oh, yeah.
big enemies if
Oh,
it
yeah.
wasn't. I think this card's fine.
Yeah, but I think this also falls into the thing that I brought up on the.
It's like there's a whole cycle, one for each color.
Yeah, the thing that it's just it seems really good, but it's more often than not going to do anything.
Though. Except for Taunt, which is actually good.
Yeah, I just think it's a bit tough to get this thing actually going. But I mean, like, put in your deck if you're doing an evade, survivor, or fin thing, and you want to do that. Because in worst case scenario, it can also commit for a foot or a
like it's pretty solid. Like just as an example, if you had like a yellow, if you were the clue getter and you had high foot, you could just like no, go stand over there while I continue to investigate, please, or something like that. Yeah. It's okay. I could actually see it being solid in like William York or something. If you're like using Mache as your primary damage dealer, where you're just like go stand over there while I chop this guy up.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. That's an excellent point.
Yeah, I'll get you next turn.
Yeah, well, guess is good against enemies that don't have Hunter. Because you can just be like, cool, we'll dump you over here. We don't need to ever go back there.
Yeah.
No, it's not a bad card. I just think that as the card pool grows, it's another one of those ones that's going to be slowly.
Yeah, it's just going to fall by the wayside.
Yeah. Hey, he's back.
The bigger man.
The biggest man on campus.
How big can he get?
So normally when you get cards that get upgraded, they get more symbols, but this guy doesn't. All of his, it all just goes into game.
It's like they know you just want to play it.
Yeah, so he also gives you +1 brain, and
in addition to the +1 foot, that's like half of like Carolyn's signature, except he heals himself instead of being almost dead when you get him.
Yeah, and he has 3 horror, so like
1 extra horror, so you can take a little more. You could soak 2 onto him and then heal it over 2 turns, and you don't have to worry about finding another way to take.
He's very good.
Guy's insane.
Yeah.
If I didn't have like other priorities. Like, if I was on like an ally Wendy build or something, like this guy is like strong contender for first upgrade.
Yeah. He's just, he's insane. Because he's the biggest man on this fucking campus.
Yeah. He is.
And he owns it. And then you also have like, in your flavor when you're playing Ashcan Pete, how you explain this drifter convinced this high school kid to come away with him to Dunwich on a train. And then it gets weird.
I have a dog. Good. Can you help me find my dog?
I like dogs.
I like dogs.
Kukri, the neutral weapon. Fight, you get +1 fist for this attack. If you succeed, you may spend 1 additional action to deal +1 damage. Commits for a fist, costs 2, and
1 hand.
1 hand.
I think the best thing you can say about this weapon is that it doesn't suck.
Yeah.
It's not good.
It's a shame that after the high point of the biggest man on campus, that like bigger man. Maybe we'll get a higher experience.
There might be a bigger Pete.
But yeah, it's a shame that this is the last one after the high point that is Pete.
Yeah. This one is like this.
I mean, it fits in the neutral weapon.
Yeah, it's
like
not terrible.
For like the non-Dunwich characters.
No, like this was fine when it came out. It was just another weapon.
I used to play it in one of my green decks because you get extra actions all the time, and sometimes doing extra damage with them was important, but it didn't stay in my deck very long.
Man, it's gotta be It's gotta be like the trashiest use of like Ace in the Hole.
Right? Yeah, it falls into a similar category as Knife, in that it's not bad. If you don't have
except that Knife, choice. Like I actually don't feel bad about rank because it only costs 1 to play instead of 2, and like I can just do stuff with it from my hand and throw other things.
And I mean, like also on this point, like it's probably good that this card isn't great, right? That it's just okay because
just all right.
It's the neutral weapon. If everyone had access to a good weapon, we wouldn't have that problem in the jungle when Calvin Wright was going insane and Finn was looking at stuff and Mateo was like, "I love God," right?
Yeah. I love God, and you should too.
So that's the Dunwich Legacy. Does anyone else have anything to say about Kukri?
No.
No. Okay, the last thing I have to say about this is you don't have to spend the action until after you've seen whether you succeed, and that's a plus. Makes the card like playable, because if you couldn't,
then it would be horrible.
Yeah. I'll spend 2 actions, fail.
Fuck.
This is Ray of Seeking, but like with no upside.
Yeah. Right. The upside was I got to do 2 damage, and that doesn't even kill you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Overall, like this set,
I think was needed. It was very refreshing to get these cards.
Yeah, the biggest thing was just like, none of these cards, like we said, throughout the course of going over a lot of these cards, they're quite niche and they've been outclassed as more cards have been released, but especially when it came out, they were very important. And this is a very solid starting point for expanding your collection past the just having the Zealot. I think that like as a base to build your decks out of, Dunwich Horror is, or at the very least Dunwich Legacy, is definitely a step above Forgotten Age and Path to Carcosa.
I would agree. I feel like if you're because if you're watching this,
some very cool stuff in it.
It does, but like this is more
one we do.
But they're a lot more niche.
Yeah.
And like so with this one, if because the hopes is if you're watching this because you're like, oh, I have the core set, what should I buy next? Definitely this one. The cards are
over the other two.
Yeah.
I could see an argument for maybe like Return to the Night of the Zealot.
Yes,
but
like in terms of just the amount of cards it gives you.
Yeah, no, like this is just really good for expanding your card pool.
Especially if you're one of those people that only bought one core set, this will really help you even that out. But if you only have one core set, here's my recommendation: buy a second one, or on a piece of paper, just write down Leo DeLuca and then just slide that in the sleeve.
At least proxy them.
Yeah.
Like
that's what I'm doing now. Whenever I record, I just proxy them. Because I'll buy the other one later.
Yeah, you will, of course.